All right, people, welcome back from break, your long 2 week vacation. We have the video today that is going to be covering complex fractions, which is what you learned about in class, vocab word, on Monday. And this was probably you when you're thinking fraction, and then when you see complex, your face kind of goes, oh my gosh, this gets sick. But beautiful. So write this out in your notebook, complex fractions, okay, with the date, in your table of contents, and unit rates. So we're going to link those two things together, okay? So complex fractions, where you end up going, ooh, and unit rates. All right, here we go. We're going to do two. I said two examples. So the first one, example one, is about water. Okay? So let's go ahead and write out what this problem entails. It took 2/3 of a minute. 2/3 of a minute to fill a barrel 1/4 full of water. Okay, so it took 2/3 of a minute. Is that more than a minute or less than a minute? Hopefully you said less. It's almost a minute. To fill a barrel 1/4 full of water. So is the barrel full? No, it's only 1/4 full. Is that more or less than a half? And hopefully, yet again, you said less. All right, so what we're trying to do is find the unit rate in barrels per minute. The important thing to notice here is that it told me a ratio, barrels per minute. And also to notice that it's asking for the unit rate. So when I write out my ratio, I want to write it as barrels to minutes. So my two numbers that I'm going to use, what one is going to go first? Barrels. So which one dealt with the barrel? The 1/4. So when I write out my ratio, I'm going to have 1/4 of a barrel being compared to, for every 2/3 minute. 2/3 minute. And I would be done here if that were my unit rate. But it's not. And the reason why I know this is because 2/3 needs to be 1 for it to be a unit rate. So how can I change 1/4 over 2/3, which, hey, that's a complex fraction. How can I change that into something out of 1? Well, you could say I could just erase 2/3 and put 1. Well, yeah, you could. But then you need to figure out what to do with 1/4. So how can I morph 2/3 into 1? Well, let me show you. Maybe you already know, you can pause the video and try. I'm going to take 2/3 and divide it by a number that'll make it be equal to 1. So 2/3 divided by what is going to give me what I want? 1. Well, as I told some people in class, 10 divided by 10 is 1. 100 divided by 100 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 8 is 1. I could keep going and going, but let's say I go to 2/3. 2/3 divided by, got it, 2/3 is 1. So if I do this to the denominator of my ratio, I have to do the same thing to the numerator. So I've morphed the denominator into 1 of what we want, 1 minute. And then the numerator, how do I divide those fractions? Well, I have to go back to what we did earlier in the year. And since I'm dividing with fractions, I'm going to keep, change, flip. Flip out because I got it right. Multiply across, and I'm at 3/8. So I'm going to have 3/8 barrels, or 3/8 of a barrel per minute. And so my final answer is actually a complex fraction, but it's also a unit rate. Okay, we're going to do one more example. Again, if you feel like you got this, then go ahead and pause the video and try it on your own. Okay, so let's say Angie, so this is example 2, the last one we're doing. Angie read 1.5 pages in 3 minutes. That's how amazing she is. Find her reading speed in pages per hour. Okay, keep in mind, you are with me in this video. That's you. You are strong. You can do this. You're with me. Okay? You might be feeling lost, confused, unsure, unclear, perplexed. You are okay because you're with me, and I'm hoping that you will know what the heck you're doing after working with me in the video. Pause it. All right, so let's say we are finding her reading speed in pages per hour. There's my ratio. It needs to be a unit rate because it says per 1 hour. So I need pages per hour. So I start with pages. So I'm going to start with pages. So I'm going to have 1.5 pages. And she read that in, didn't give me hours, but it gave me minutes. So I'm going to use that. 3 minutes. And in the end, we need to change this to 1 hour. So in order to get to 1 hour, I'm going to try to first get to 1 minute and then convert that into 1 hour. So asking yourself, how can I change 3 minutes into 1 minute? By dividing it by what? Itself, 3. So that'll give me 1 minute. So I'm going to have to do the same thing to the numerator. Divide 1.5 by 3 to give me some number of pages per minute. So how do I do 1.5 divided by 3? Going back to first semester, I need to change 1.5 to an improper fraction. Boom, boom. 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3 over my denominator of 2. I'm dividing by 3. 3 is a fraction, is 3 over 1. Now I'm dividing with fractions. So I could keep, change, flip, or on this one, I could actually divide straight across and get whole numbers. So I don't even need to do keep, change, flip. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 2 divided by 1 is 2. So I end up with half of a page per minute. Half of a page per minute, per 1 minute, and we need to get to 1 hour. So now, how am I going to convert this into 1 hour? Well, how do I change 1 minute into 1 hour? I'm going from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, right? So I'm going to multiply by 60. Minute into hours. Multiply by 60, multiply by 60. Because there are 60 minutes in an hour. So now I'll get 60 minutes here, right? So I'm going to change this. So I have 60 minutes. And on the numerator, what is half of 60? That's 30. So I have 30 pages per 60 minutes, which now I can just change 60 minutes to 1 hour. Cha-ching! And the problem is done. We are going to practice with this stuff in class tomorrow. So feel confident, people. You do have a superhero within. Good night.